good evening. My name is Wallace Gator Bradley, and I'm the host of the Bradley Report. I'm also known as the Urban Translator, and I'm the president of United in Peace, Inc. And this show is made possible with the help and the guidance and the production of the chairman of United in Peace, Inc., and my wife, Miss Terry Marsh. With that being said, let me say to God be the glory. Let me start off first of all, let it be known that tomorrow is the Bud Billiken Parade. And tomorrow is the 90th year that they'll be celebrating the Bud Billiken Parade. And I'm trying to stress the significance of the importance of this parade because, as you know, this parade has been going on since I was a shorty. And I've been trying to convince individuals how important this parade is to a lot of us. This year in particular is so important that with all this shooting and killing that's happening in the city of Chicago, with everyone trying to point the finger saying who's responsible for it. This year is where the village is coming together as a whole. Everyone is thinking about the salvation of the children and the cultural awareness of African American history. This is a time where everyone comes together regardless of their opinions, regardless of their sexual orientation, regardless of the fact of who is running for office. All the politicians going to be there. A lot of children going to be there. And everybody want to come together to help stop the violence. Okay? And the children, our support are very important. This time around, they important all the time, every time. But this time is very important because you see where the mayor, the county board president, the superintendent of police, the chief judge, and the state's attorney are talking about having a summit so they all can come together and figure out how they can pool their resources to help turn the tide on violence within the city of Chicago and the county of Cook. And I want to say hooray, hooray, hooray to all of them. As you know, last week I was talking about the fact that they all should come together. I'm glad they're coming together. Something I read in the paper was a story about the mother of the guy, I believe, that was involved in one of the mass shootings in either Dayton or El Paso. And she had informed the police about her son having these guns and intentions. And nothing happened. The police didn't come arrest him. They didn't come to find out how could a guy that was mentally disturbed get the guns. Then I read a story where a mother was able to get up with law enforcement in order for them to arrest her son, who had them same intentions, and they were able to stop a mass shooting. Here in Chicago, there's been a story about individuals getting caught with those warlike weapons. From what I'm reading in the media, I want to say I understand that Indiana has a red flag alert, and they let alcohol, tobacco, and firearm find out about the alert, okay? And they check everything out, okay? Then 2 guys got apprehended or arrested for having some of these weapons of war. I'm of the opinion that I want to say hooray, hooray to alcohol, tobacco, and firearm. I want to say hooray, hooray to the police officers that was able to apprehend the individuals. I want to say hooray, hooray to the court system that made a decision that one of the individuals shouldn't have a bond because he had warrants from another state, and they felt he was a threat to public safety. I want to say hooray, hooray to the state's attorney's office. I hope they have the evidence that they need to be able to prosecute anyone that have weapons of war. And I say that as someone that's a father, a grandfather, and an African American male. It's time for all of us to stand up with the mayor, with the county board president, with the superintendent of police, with the state's attorney, with the chief judge, and do our part to put out there that this type of activity has to stop. And we no longer can condone the actions once we find out. Something else that's on the horizon that's very, very frightening. And that is this movement of white supremacy. Unashamed white supremacy. Where you see where the Fraternal Order of Police, president and all of them, wants to get rid of a sitting state's attorney based off what I've been reading in the media, based off the letter that the representative of Fraternal Police wrote and made it public, that the reason that they want to get rid of the state's attorney because she freed individuals because of police misconduct, and they have a problem with her freeing individuals who are suspects or who have been found guilty because of the nefarious actions of the Chicago police. There's a group that's coming together to rally in support of Kim Foxx as challengers emerge. The Fraternal Order Police, the white supremacist individuals that came together and protest against Kim Foxx because she's bringing forth fair prosecutions, not biased prosecutions, fair prosecutions, and criminal justice reform. And their basis for doing that is purely racial. It's my understanding now they have a multi-billionaire's son who wants to run against her. He used to be assistant state's attorney. But I never heard him say anything about the nefarious actions of assistant state's attorneys and the cover-up by the state's attorney's office under the leadership of Divine and Anita Alvarez and Daley when it comes to the cover-up of police torture, murder, brutality, and misconduct by officers who have done wrong and been found guilty by our federal judicial system. The leadership of them organizations have not apologized, have not said they was bad apples. As a matter of fact, their whole campaign and premise to get rid of Kim Foxx is because of bad police officers that these people are for. So we need to be watchful and understand and ask every candidate that's running for state's attorney, what state stands on fraternal order police, white supremacy, and why have they been quiet about it? In order for us to have a state's attorney that want to make sure that everybody get a fair prosecution and that bad seeds or bad apples in any fraternity, as well as street organizations, need to be brought before the state's attorney's office, hopefully be held on charges and have their day in court. Caller, I see you. Could you please state your name?
Yeah, this is James.
Hey, James.
Okay, you know Ryan Govich, right?
Yeah.
Now, he put the, Donald Trump put to get him out. And J.B. Fisker and all the other parties don't like that. Even the other leaders, they want him to stay in president. But now, how can they tell him to stay president, but you have them taking it for the legal immigrant and other people who do wrong?
Excuse me, James.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. Okay, and I feel the president ought to pardon Larry Hoover. You follow what I'm saying? Okay?
Yeah.
Because of the travesty of the bogus sentence that they gave him. They gave him 6 life terms. And the guy that they just found guilty, El Chapo, that was bringing, they say, billions of dollars of drugs, murders everywhere, all over Mexico. They give him 1 life term. I believe that Rob Blagojevich may have done the time, but you got to understand this. It was a crime that he committed, so they say, and from what I'm reading. And I believe that the president, he has the power to give them a pardon. You see what I'm saying? And everybody has their opinion about Rob Blagojevich and what he did. And I agree with you and what you're saying by voicing your opinion. But what I'm talking about is the racism and the bigotry that they want to bring back to the state's attorney's office. And that's what we need to remind the people of Cook County that voted for Kim Foxx. You wanted integrity for the state's attorney's office. And you got it. You knew that the state's attorney's office was rotten to the core. Be it a black person or a white person or a brown person. Caller, I see you. Could you please state your name? Caller?
Yes, good evening.
What's your name?
Okay, yeah, Bill.
All right, talk to me, brother.
All right. The way I see this here playing out with President Trump pardoning Governor B, if he was to do that, and I guess the sentiments out here is that he was doing it as a distraction just to get away from the rough week he was having with all of the mass murders out there. But if he was to pardon Governor B, then when it comes time for him to be impeached or indicted, then he should feel as though he should be pardoned too by the same people that he's pardoning.
Well,
You follow what I'm saying?
yeah, but see, the thing is this.
I mean, it sets the precedent. You
Right.
know,
You know, the whole thing is this. You right. He's doing that to take the attention off the wrong that he's doing to this country. Okay? With Putin pulling his strings. All right? And the frightening thing about everything, he hoping to free Blagojevich, and then people say he freed Blagojevich, so we want Trump to be back in office. If we free Larry Hoover, all the black folks gonna say we want Trump to be back in office. They're like he screamed to Sweden, they got to let ASAP go. Everybody says that's a wonderful thing. He care about us. The bipartisan bill that he signed was driven by Democrats talking about criminal justice reform. Everybody feel like, because they hear him talk, that Trump is the king of criminal justice reform. You in this country, you seeing what he's doing, and like you said, it's about taking the distraction off of the wrong things that he's done. So I'm saying, I'm glad you brought it up because it's something that my father-in-law always says. When he get to a point and he make a statement that make you want to go, he said, man, that's something to think about, ain't it? You follow what I'm saying? So, back to the matter at hand that's here in Cook County. If you allow a person that's a part of the 1%, this guy that wants to run against Kim Foxx, his father got untold billions of dollars, and he ain't no Democrat. And gonna use that money for his son, who is pretty much in support of how the state's attorney's office was ran before, and wants to bring that same attitude and spirit back to the state's attorney's office with the help of the fraternal order of police, a modern day leadership that's putting it in our face every day, that feel that the murder that Van Dyke did, in their eyes, was not a crime. The fact that the police officers that lied and were freed, and then some got fired, they feel like they should have never been charged and they should have never been fired. That's, in my opinion, and in a lot of other people's opinion, black, white, and brown, that's a travesty to humanity and order. Voters in Cook County, be it black or white, need to pay attention and come out and don't let the 1% dictate law and order in Cook County. Don't let them fool you with that Smollett stuff and that mess. They are mad at Kim Foxx. Not about no Smollett. They mad because she's a black woman that got elected by whites, black, brown, and Asians. People that wanted something different. That's what upset them. This ain't what Gator's saying. Y'all see it every day. When the police officer overturn all the police, come to the city council, they try to put everything on what the mayor said about here come the clown. And then the man get up there and say he feel it's wrong that the police board fired the police officers that was lying to cover up a murder of Laquan McDonald. So everybody in Cook County need to wake up. And something else. You can look up the Sun-Times. Sun-Times wrote so much about it, they create their own archive based off the case of the young guy that got killed on Rush Street. He wasn't brown or black. He was white. But because of privilegeness, if that's the word, he did 60 days. Not in Cook County, not in the state penitentiary. 60 days in another county's jail and paid for his stay. But because he was privileged. And this guy that's running for state's attorney is of a privileged mindset. The young guy that I said was privileged, he was some kin to the Dailies. So you Cook County, I'm just saying, in my opinion, just my opinion, based off what I'm hearing people saying, black, white, and Hispanic, that they are afraid of that guy becoming the state's attorney. And the only way to make sure that he don't is that the people in Cook County come out in droves to re-elect Kim Foxx. And something else, about to cut it off. It was brought as a wonderful thing that Justice House was endorsed by Secretary of State Jesse White, the #1 vote getter in the state of Illinois, one with 3 million votes, and Congresswoman Jan Sikowski. Pat Down, Stephanie Coleman, Alderman, Pat Down, Stephanie Coleman, along with Alderman Derek Curtis. They were at the session with a lot of people that endorsed him. It's the talk of Cook County. A lot of people feel that the individual who has the seat, there's no guarantee that he can get reelected. A lot of people feel that the seat is in jeopardy because there's no guarantee that this man who's sitting in that seat can hold that seat. That's why people like Secretary of State Jesse White put his name on the line. People like Congresswoman Jan Sikowski, people like Alderman Derek Curtis, Stephanie Coleman, Michelle Harris, Pat Dow, Alderman Kerry Austin, and others has came out publicly to let it be known they feel that Justice Nathaniel House would be the best state's attorney since Freeman, and definitely to be the second one, African American, to be elected to that seat. I got to wrap it up. I want to tell you this here. Vote, do not choke. March 17th, 2020. It's a presidential election, and you got a chance to elect a guy by the name of Justice Nathaniel House to be the next Supreme Court Justice, and keep Kim Foxx as the state's attorney for Cook County. I pray that you do. I appreciate that you did. With that, I want to say, to God be the glory.